We are just 29 days away from Africa's biggest showpiece, which will see Morocco welcome 23 nations to compete for the Africa Total Energy Africa Cup of Nations, the 35th edition of the biennial tournament since its inception in 1957. Now, this is Morocco's second time hosting the tournament since hosting it for the first time in 1988. Now, they had a chance to host the tournament in 2015. However, due to scares of listeriosis and malaria, it could not happen. 42 teams on the other side have booked their places in the FIFA in next year's FIFA World Cup, namely Haiti, Panama, Curacao, who make their debut. Haiti made only their second appearance in the FIFA World Cup, having last appeared in 1974, while the likes of Norway, Austria, and Scotland made their return for the first time in 28 years. Debutants Cape Verde will be making the first World Cup since the tournament's inception in 1930 in Uruguay. Another debutant will be Curacao, with the smallest population of 160,000 people living in the country. Good afternoon, welcome to it. This is All Things Football Unpacked. I'm your host, Apiwe Roto. A lot has been going on, a lot of drama. The dispute between Orlando Pirates and St. Eloi Lupopo has been resolved. I have the details. I have the outcome with me. I'll bring it with you. I'll give it to you in a moment. Plenty to talk about from a footballing perspective as we get ready for the week of football that lies ahead. Champions League football is back. Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, Stellenbosch tap into the continent with Kaizer Chiefs stepping or traveling currently in Egypt to play Al Masry, where they have not had the best of luck in the past, dating all the way back to 2002, where they lost to Al Ali in the Super Cup by 4-1 on the 15th of March 2002. Where were you then? While on the other side, last year's semi-finalist Stellenbosch will also be South Africa is also represented by Stellenbosch FC. Now let's talk about a statement that has many up in arms by the current Italian coach Gennaro Gattuso. According to Gennaro Gattuso, Africa should have fewer places in the tournament, should have fewer places in the World Cup, because Africa having more spots in the World Cup is going to make it difficult for Europe to win the World Cup, which is very rare, which I find strange from someone whose national team has not qualified since 2014, where they also crashed out in the group stage. The idea is to compete. Now, this year we have 8 nations from Asia, we have 9 from Africa, 6 from North America, 6 from South America, Oceania has 1, Europe has 16. From 13, they get 16, and he's still complaining. Why is that, Gennaro Gattuso? It screams entitlement. That's why. I'll tell you why. You feel entitled. Stop it. We get it. We had fewer teams in the past. 1994, we had 3: Nigeria, Morocco, and Cameroon. Nigeria had not been to the World Cup until 1994. However, Nigeria missed out on this World Cup after falling short to the Democratic Republic of Congo in a penalty shootout. No Cameroon, no Gabon. The Democratic Republic of Congo will now contest the playoffs in a game while they wait to see who they will face between Jamaica and San Marino. Now it goes down to the FIFA rankings. They have a higher FIFA ranking, therefore they're in a higher position to face whoever they're going to play in the final. While at it, talk to me, interact with me, engage with me on social media. We are available on Facebook, All Things Football Unpacked, on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. comment, like, and share. We're on Facebook, like the page, All Things Football, Football Unpacked. We're on TikTok, All Things Football underscore 14, and small caps, All Things Football underscore All Things Football underscore 14. We are on TikTok at All Things Football underscore 14, or you can address me directly at Apiwe Roto underscore 03 on Instagram, or you better yet talk to me on X or on Facebook at Apiwe Roto 3. On to our stories making headlines in the week of football. That in the week of last week of football, that was. We are 29 days away, and we are a few weeks away till we get to know till set the 42 the 42 teams that have booked their places in the World Cup know their fate, and a draw that will be held in the nation's capital of Washington DC on on Friday, the 5th of December. On to our news. George Malule, in our news making headlines, former Mamelodi Sundowns midfielder George Maluleke has taken his former employers in Kruger United to the Premier Soccer League DRC being the dispute resolution chamber. Now the Tembisa-born midfielder joined Motsepe Foundation side Kruger United on a 1-year deal. However, he was unable to finish the campaign as a result of outstanding payment. Now, speaking to now the gate that the now the situation has been taken over by the South African Football Players Union, of SAFPU for short. The role of the South African Football Players Union is to look after the interest of the players. The idea of the union is to have the interest of the players at heart, not theirs. We spoke to Ntlantla Chabalala, who is the General Secretary and is also a player agent, in a statement where he reads, where he has confirmed that the matter is now before the league's disciplinary wing. In a statement, it reads, "We have tried to resolve the matter with the club with no success. It's not only George, but also 6 other players are owed money by the same club." This was a conversation had with Kickoff. It is not a nice thing to go to the PSL DRC. If they start deducting money from the clubs, more players on their payroll will be affected. If it's not working out, adds the man. Now, it comes down to the situation of buying statuses. We have the situation going at Siulele FC, where players are going through whatever it is that they're going through. Why would you go and buy a football status, a PSL status, when you know you are not up for it from a financial perspective? If you listen to Sports Night Amplified with Andile, we had an interview with Shepherd United chairman and coach in Mr. Svir Chipampengis rather, where he states that he is not making money from the league, he's not making money from football. Since the club got promoted in the 2012-2013 season, they've had 45 different coaches. Some have come and gone on 2 occasions, namely Letlogono Siema and coach Dance Malisele, who will also know his fate from Baraka FC after he was suspended. Ironically, despite being suspended, he has since been replaced by a new coach who's formerly of Tax, and coach Klisa Motero. Now let's show you teams that have qualified for next year's 2026 FIFA World Cup. The co-hosts include, with the exception of the co-hosts, Canada, Mexico, and the USA, while we have Japan, New Zealand, Iran, Argentina, who are going as the defending champions. Debutants Uzbekistan make their way, who waited for 95 years to qualify for their first World Cup. South Korea, Jordan's another debutant. Australia make a return along with Ecuador. Brazil being their five-time winners, tournament's most successful nation, and Brazil will make another tournament. The only national team that now Brazil is the only national team that have never missed a tournament since the tournament's inception in 1930. Uruguay, Ecuador, 2-time winners in Uruguay, Colombia, Paraguay, Last year's semi-finalists who finished fourth: Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Algeria, Ghana, who made the quarterfinals in 2010, make a return. Debutants Cape Verde, South Africa make their first World Cup since qualifying in 2002. Now, we mentioned 2002, yes, they were there in 2010. However, in 2010, they were hosting the tournament. And we have Qatar who make their return after making their debut as host. We have England, 1966 winners. We have Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ivory Coast make a return after missing out on the last two installments. Senegal make their successive return along with two-time champions, and France, Croatia, Portugal, the Netherlands, three-time runners-up, four-time winners. Germany, Norway make a return for the first time in 28 years. Belgium make another return after crashing out in the group stage in the last tournament. Spain make a return alongside Switzerland to make their sixth successive World Cup appearance. Austria also make a return for the first time since 1998 with Scotland. Panama make a return with debutants Curacao, and of course Haiti, who are making only their second appearance in the World Cup, with the last one dating back to 1974. On to our other story making headlines in the world of football. Suspended head coach of Baroka FC, Coach Dan Malesela, Uh, is yet to know his fate at his current employers. The former the former TS Galaxy tactician was placed on suspension of what was deemed to be a string of poor results. Now, in an interesting turn of events, the Leboa Homo base side went on to hire Tlisa Mutaung on a permanent basis. Now, the idea of bringing him in was to bring Bahaga back to the top flight football. Braga currently sit bottom on the table after collecting 7 points from 11 games. Speaking to the chairman in Bahlele, he states that we are still waiting for the DC disciplinary committee report. As chairman of the club, I do not sit in the disciplinary committee, so I'm not sure when the report will reach my desk, but maybe early next week. But it will definitely be there. On to our other story. Following Ghana's return to the World Cup, where they finished in Group I with 25 points behind Madagascar, Mali, Comoros, Central African Republic, and Chad. They are said to be rewarded handsomely for their work. Despite now, the Black Stars have been the talk of the continent after missing out on the upcoming World Africa Cup of Nations, which is to be held in Morocco, missing out for the first time since missing the 2004 edition. Speaking to Dr. Kasil Atofoson, in an interview with Pan African Football, he states that the government's sustained investment in the sport the government's sustained investment in sports has yielded impressive results, with the Black Stars qualifying for the 2026 World Cup, an amount of 150 million GA Ghana. I'm not sure what the Ghana currency is. It's practically $13.68 million has been allocated for the Black Stars to participate in the World Cup. Now they'll be looking for a better tournament after failing to make it past the group stages despite beating South Korea and falling short to Uruguay in the last game by 2 goals to 0 thanks to first half goals. Their quarterfinal finish in 2010 remains their best effort. We wish the Black Stars and the best of luck. Now they will find out their fate and their opponents on the 5th of December in the nation's capital of the United States. On the 5th, along with Sydney, the rest of the teams on the continent, namely Egypt, Cape Verde, Morocco, South Africa, and Senegal, just to mention a few. Moving on to our other story, the Zambian national team in other stories has provided an update following reports of food poisoning towards the members of their squad. In a friendly encounter against Bafana Bafana during the international break, now Chipolo Polo, the 2012 AFCON winners, released a statement after some members of the team, suffered food poisoning in Bafana Bafana's 3-1 in Zambia's 3-1 defeat. um, which was compounded by a troubling situation. There were two members of the coaching staff and one player who were hospitalized due to eating contaminated food. Now, speaking to a video analyst, speaking to a Zambian member, or who was part of the Football Association of Zambia, FAS for short, following the report reads, following the reported incidents, the incidences of suspected food poisoning by some members of the Zambian men's national team on Saturday in South Africa, the Football Association of Zambia wishes to confirm that Moses Sichone, midfielder Miguel Chaiwa, and video analyst Elias Chopper have been admitted to St. George Private Hospital in Port Elizabeth. A statement from the association read, the trio were admitted after being taken to the hospital following their worsened condition, which was aggravated by fever, diarrhea, and vomiting. The team doctor, Wesley Gogo, has been left behind to tend to the ailing trio. Speaking to the secretary, Mashasha Pande, who added the Football Association of Zambia is working closely with its host association and the local medical authorities to assure that the affected receive the best medical attention. We are also happy that some of the cases have been reported in the team that have been reported in the team earlier have significantly improved, with the affected parties being monitored. We wish those who are affected well. Now, these are scenes we do not want to see from a footballing perspective, because it almost looks like sabotage when a team comes to play football only for them to be on the receiving end of food poisoning after checking into a hotel. Now, we've had situations like these. We had this incident with Kaizer Chiefs when they traveled to the DRC to play their first game against KS Simba. We saw this with with Orlando Pirates in the game against Ajax Cape Town, where the game had to be delayed because players were complaining about stomach bugs. These are things we do not wish to see. Orlando, moving on to our other story, Nigerian coach Eric Chelle has come out regard about come out over come out with claims that the Democratic Republic of Congo applied voodoo, or criticizing the side of the opposition camp following Nigeria's 4-3 penalty shootout loss to the DRC in the CAF World Cup qualification playoffs rather. Now the result sees Nigeria miss out on a second consecutive FIFA World Cup, something that has never happened to the Super Eagles since the team qualified for the 1994 showpiece. The only time they missed out was 2006, and of course the last World Cup, which was in 2022. Now this incident has been dismissed by former Nigerian international in Efenayo Udeze, who's dismissed the claims, citing that the DRC were the better team on the day. Speaking to the legend, he states that during the penalty session, speaking to Eric Chelle states that he went on to say that during the penalty session, a guy from Congo did some voodoo every time, the Malian told the Complete Sports after the game. However, the former legend in FNU Udeze rather, was quick to rebuke the claims, stating that the reason they lost the game was that the DRC Leopards were better, and they giving them credit. Now, he states that voodoo is not the reason Super Eagles lost. DRC deserved to win because they showed character. Now, Nigeria took the lead in the third minute, only for that lead to be cancelled in the latter stages of the game. The legend states that we always blame the Nigerian Football Federation for everything, but this time the players should take the blame, the 45-year-old said. The Nigerian Football Federation, the NSC, even the federal government did everything to make sure the World Cup ticket was secured, but the players let everyone down. For me, I will call out all the players that did not show up. Now, that is not going to be pretty. That is not going to be pretty. Or moving on to our other story, we turn to we're still on the continent. We are in Angola this time, where a former Cape Town City player, namely a, a former Cape Town City player, has been expelled from the camp, namely Joe Paciencia, as a result of disciplinary issues. Now, this was confirmed by the Angola Football Federation, or the Federação Angolana de Futebol, as confirmed in a statement, as a result of ill discipline. Now, the decision comes after Angola played current world champions in Argentina, where they went down by 2 goals to nil in a game that was meant to be a celebration of 50 years of independence from the Portuguese colony for the Angolans. Part of the statement reads: initially with 30 athletes, the group under the orders of new coach Patrice Bermulin is now reduced to 27 due to departures of Captain Freddy, dismissed for personal issues. He travelled after the game with Argentina, being that was already his dismissal faced request being that there was already this dismissal face request of the same. Benny Mukende had to withdraw due to injury, while Joe Paciencia was dismissed due to ill discipline. Now he's been something of a journeyman in the Garabola, where he has played for Deportivo de Huila, Porto Luanda, GD Interclub, FC Onze Bravos de Maque, and of course several other Angolan side before a short stint with the Citizens in the 2023-24 season. He recently returned to Petro in the season on what is believed to be a 2-year deal. However, he will now be hoping his disciplinary issues do not jeopardize his place in the World Cup, in the Africa Cup of Nations, where they will be facing off in Group B against Angola, Zimbabwe, Egypt, and South Africa. Moving right along, we're still on the continent. This time we go to the Senegal, where head coach Pepetal bemoaned what he called a lack of respect from a organizer point of view. This comes after the Lions of Teranga played against the Brazilian five-time world champions in Brazil at the Emirates Stadium in London during the international break. Speaking after the game, he states that this is a heartfelt outcry, and I'm not saying this because of the defeat. However, I felt the organizers did not respect us. They announced that on the eve of the game, neither team would train on the pitch, but Brazil trained on the pitch, and it did not, and we did not. It's a lack of respect and that's something I really wanted to highlight on the actual game. He stated that his side could not recover from the slow start in the first half. When you can see 2 goals early in the first half, it is always challenging against that caliber of team. And we say this all the time, especially at side of Brazil's magnitude. It's always difficult to come to the fold because those first 2 goals you concede early in the game tend to destabilize the flow of the game, or throw the players off completely. It all comes down to game and player management. Moving right along, another team in the PSL has joined TS Galaxy in the transfer ban. FIFA have confirmed there are new victims in the transfer from a transfer ban perspective. The club you may be wondering is KZN based. And yes, KZN based. Which club am I talking about? The club in question, I beg your pardon, is Lemonville Golden Arrows. This comes after the side failed to pay forward Knox Mutizwa, who is now plying his trade with Knox Mutizwa with Richards Bay FC, another KZN side, failing to pay him what was due to him, with TS Galaxy having only been the only top league club sanctioned since October. They now have company in Golden Arrows, who have been banned for 3 transfer windows, which came into effect on Tuesday, the 18th of November 2025. I've got the letter from FIFA right here. I'll read it to you in a moment. Reading in a statement. Now the state reading Now, the letter here reads via the FIFA legal portal, written to Golden Arrows from Miami. Now, the letter was written on the 18th of November, rather. Dear Madam, in this case, since the club is owned by Mamadou Madlala, we refer to the above mentioned matter, as well as the decision passed by FIFA in the matter of reference number FPSD 20128, which is the decision. In this context, it appears that despite the decision, Golden Arrows, they responded, has not complied with its financial obligations towards Knox Mutizwa. In this regard, we wish to inform the parties that a ban from registering new players internationally and nationally has been implemented by FIFA on the respondent. The registration ban will remain active until the amount is paid and for a maximum duration up to 3 entire and consecutive registration periods. Lastly, the South African Football Association is required to immediately implement on the respondent a ban from registering new players at national level, if not done yet. We thank you for your attention to the above and for your valuable cooperation. Now, Golden Arrows and TS Galaxy are not the first teams to be on the receiving end of a transfer ban. We saw this happen with Kaiser Chiefs, where they were on the receiving end of a transfer ban during the Champions League era, where they went all the way to the final. How finish it where they unfortunately succumbed to 10-time winners Al Ali by 3 goals to 0 in a final that was played in Casablanca. Now, a final that had Happy Mashiane sent off early in the first half. Moving right along, Chippa United chairman Mr. Sriamping, who was speaking about just now, has been appointed the new custodian of the football institution, the biggest football institution in the country, that being the School of Excellence. Now, the School of Excellence has been under the guidance of Transnet to, as a result, to protect the environment. They've been under the care of Transnet, just to protect the environment and ensure safety and make sure that the place is safe and secure. Now, I've got the letter from Chipcore developers who have taken over the Football School of Excellence under the new leadership of businessman and football boss and Mr. Sviwe Chipampengesi, who has been appointed the new custodian of the school. Now, the School of Excellence has stood as one of the country's most important football development institutions, a place where raw talent has been shaped into national and international players. Its revival is recognized as essential in rebuilding South Africa's talent pathways, strengthening youth development, and restoring long technical excellence to the sport. Mr. Mpenge's involvement in restoring public sports infrastructure dates back to his tenure at the Philippi Stadium. Now, before Chippa United got promoted, the Chili Boys were promoted to the top flight football. They played their home games at the Philippi Stadium. Now, the place is synonymous with crime, gangsterism, and all sorts of criminal activities in the Western Cape before moving their matches to the Athlone Stadium till eventually moving to the Eastern Cape. Under the lease, the stadium was revived into an active football venue that brought professional matches into a township community, the birthplace of Chippa United, stimulating small business activities, strengthening football culture and restoring pride in an area overlooked. When the facility was unceremoniously reclaimed by the Western Cape Government Department of Sports and eventually declined into tissue, which led the Philippi Stadium to be a waste site. The contrast highlighted the importance of sustainable community aligned STEM management models in ensuring the success of the public-private partnerships. Now, it goes on to say the foundational experience paved the way for Mpengesi later interventions in the Eastern Cape, where he took over what was formerly known as the Absa Stadium, where Bushbucks played their home games after moving from Mthatha, where the Springboks also played their game, having with the last game dating back to that game against Uruguay, where they won by 135 points to 3. The Buffalo City Stadium, now the Absa Stadium, now known as the Buffalo City Stadium or the BCM Stadium, had deteriorated into an abandoned, unsafe space associated with criminal activities. Under Mbengesi's leadership, the stadium was secured, rehabilitated, reopened as a functional sports and community venue that hosts Battery Premiership as Chippa United's second home, restoring safety, dignity, and activity in this area. Now, players who've been produced by the structure. Now, the School of Excellence, before we get into it, will accommodate learners from grade 8 to matric, providing a strong educational backbone for the next generation, and not just to create. Now, the idea is not to just create great football players, but also to produce great, proper, good human beings who are going to contribute positively to society. The Mutip Chipambesi Foundation, intend to collaborate with key and regional partners, which include the National Youth Development Agency, to the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, the Department of Basic Education, Department of Higher Education, Ekurhuleni Municipality, the South African Football Association, the Premier Soccer League, and various corporate sponsors through their corporate social investment programs. Additionally, Chipco plans to develop a top-tier commercial hotel facility on the campus, a modern accommodation hub for those visiting Gauteng, given the school's location that less than 10 minutes from OR Tambo Airport. With this hotel will significantly strengthen the local tourism and event success. Now, the School of Excellence has a remarkable history, if I may say so myself, with recent graduates including Siabonga Mabena, Relebogile Mofokeng, Kutlwano Letlhako, Amelvert Boitumelo Rejepane, with earlier players dating back to Stephen Pienaar, Dane Clayt, Bernard Parker, Bryce Moon, Letmasela Modebu, and Kikin Dolly, just to mention a few who have since gone on to shape South African football. Congratulate All Things Football would like to congratulate Mr. Chipam Pengesi and Chipco developers. We wish them the best of luck. From the academy perspective, well, we hope they don't just produce great football players, but also great individuals who will be a positive influence on the youth. On to our other story, the disciplinary board. Onto our penultimate story. Africa's governing body, Confederation of African Football (CAF), have released a statement regarding and ruling in favor of the DRC side and FC Saint Aloy Lupopo. Now, this comes after the sides filed complaints against each other after the incidents that happened in the game encounter at Orlando Stadium, where the DRC side were the away side who lost 3-0, forcing a 3-0 aggregate against their visit against. Now, the DRC side fell short on by three, going down by 3 goals to 0, forcing a 3-all aggregate, having won 3-0 at home. The Confederation of African Football has since ruled in favor of the DRC side. Now, I've got the letter here and a statement and the note from a decision made by the CAF Disciplinary Board, which reads: notifications of the term of the CAF Disciplinary Board, incidents and complaints submitted by both clubs in connection to match number 91 and number 92 played in the frame of Total Energy's CAF Champions League 2025-2026. Please find the terms and decisions rendered by the disciplinary board at its meeting on the 12th of November. The CAF Disciplinary Board was composed of Mr. Osman Kane of Senegal, Mr. Jane Njeri Onyang of Kenya, Mr. Patrick Shale of Lesotho, and Mr. Felix Gobasia of Niger. Now, Mr. Osman Kane is the chairperson, while Njeri Onyango is the vice chair. Now, the board has decided to fine Sen Elwai Lupopo head coach St. Aloy Lupopo head coach Mr. Guy coach Guy Mukasa Misakabu rather, you 20,000 US dollars for failing to comply with the decision of the CAF disciplinary board dating back to 2000 to for failing to comply with the decision of the CAF disciplinary board dating back to 20 dating back to the 22nd of September 2025. To make matters things worsened for Pirates, where they all were also hit with several sanctions, where they were fined $5,000, which is 85,000 rand, for depriving Saint Aloy Lupopo to of the unnecessary accreditations, while $20,000, which is 343,500 rand, for spraying chemicals in the team's locker room. Former saying Aloy Lupopo will continue to defend its interests with the greatest communication, it's concluded. Now this is the story. It's all here. It's came from this was from Kev. The statement is all here. It's also available on kickoff. It's also available on Sokala Duma. You can go online for the rest of the story. It goes on to say suspend the pay for the fine for the complaint for this is they've also suspended St. Aloy Lupopo player Durant Mokoko Amale for a total of two CAF competitions for which he would otherwise be eligible, namely the game against Sundowns and St. Aloy Lupopo and St. Aloy Lupopo versus Al Hilal for assault and unsporting behavior and against an opponent in accordance with Articles 11 and 123 of the Disciplinary Code. It dismissed on the merits of ineligibility claims by Orlando Pirates against Saint Aloy Lupopo of M. Kashala Wanet Ramos and M. Anok Lezoshala Lozashia, and of course they fined Orlando Pirates 5,000 US dollars for failing to provide the visiting team with the necessary accreditations. Now I'm reading from the document itself. This document was delivered by CAF earlier this week. It was written by CAF earlier this week from the CAF headquarters in Cairo, in the nation's capital nation of Egypt. It was delivered, yes, from Egypt, and on Tuesday, the 18th of November, which was. Let's start this thing from the beginning, the fine that is, so that in case you just in case you miss it or get lost, the CAF disciplinary has made a decision to. Let's start from the beginning once again. The decision. Now, we've mentioned that Mr. Osman Kane was there from Senegal as the chairperson. Jane Onyango from Kenya was there as the vice chair. Mr. Patrick Shale from Lesotho was also part of the panel as a member. And Mr. Felix Gobashia of Niger was also part of as a member. Now, the disciplinary board has decided to fine Coach M. Guy Bukasa a total of 20 US dollars for failure to comply with the decision of the CAF disciplinary board dating back to 22 December September rather 20 dating back to the 22nd of September, which is 340,000 rand, 340,500 rand, I beg your pardon, then for failure to comply with the decision of the CAF disciplinary board. Order St. Louis St. Louis Limpopo head coach has been ordered to immediately serve without delay his 6-match suspension during the upcoming CAF competitions. And they've requested St. Aloy Limpopo to ensure that the head coach is personally informed of the decision. Apologies for my earlier blunder. Now, this has to be read as it is. I cannot give you a half job. I have to read it as it is so that we stay intact, so that you do not have to go over and over trying to understand what transpired with regards to the meeting. Another sanction on towards Eloy Lipopo includes the player in Diomersi Mokoko Amale for a total of 2 CAF Club competition matches for which he would otherwise be eligible, namely match number 97 against Orlando Mamelodi Sundowns and match number 106 versus Al Hilal SC for assault and unsporting behavior against an opponent in accordance with Articles 11 and 123 of the CAF Disciplinary Code. Dismiss on the merits the eligibility claims by Orlando Pirates FC against St. Aloy Lupopo players M. Kashala, Juanet Ramos, and M. Monarch Lozasia have been dismissed by the Confederation, while edit have the Buccaneers were fined $5,000 US dollars, which is 80 converts to 85,000 rand for failing to provide the visiting team St. Aloy Lupopo the necessary accreditations, which led to the disorderly scenes we saw as they made their way to the Orlando Stadium in that game in the return leg. Orlando Pirates were also fined for spraying chemical products and a total a sum of 20,000 US dollars in the proximity of to the locker room of FC Aloy Lupobo, which presented an unknown and a potential risk to the health and safety of players and officials in match number 92 Orlando Pirates versus St. Aloy Lupopo. The fines must be paid into the bank account indicated below within days of notification. This letter was written by chairperson of the CAF Disciplinary Board, Confederation African de Football, in Osman Kane of Senegal, who heads up the disciplinary committee. Now, the president has nothing to do with the disciplinary committee and whatever it is that goes on with regards to the discipline and team players not behaving and whatever it is that goes on the continent. Reason being, in this case, it would be regarded as a conflict of interest, considering that Pedro Motsepe is from South Africa and Orlando Pirates is also a South African side. Moving on to our penultimate story, Orlando Algerian Giants ES Sedif have announced the appointment of Serbian tactician, formerly of Orlando Pirates, Uganda, and of course Zamalek, in Milutin Sredojevic. Now, his arrival adds him to a growing list of PSL coaches who are currently working in the north of Algeria, namely Siad Ramovic, formerly of TS Galaxy, for Joseph Zembawa, formerly of Orlando Pirates, and of course Rolani Mokwena, who's currently coaching EMC Alger, who've been paired with Mamelodi Sundowns in the CAF Champions League. This was confirmed by the club's management in a statement reading. The management of Wafak Sedif Club announces the appointment of Serbian coach Milican Sredojevic as the head coach of the first team's technical model at the suggestion of athletic director Azaldin Arab, as part of the management's quest to restore the technical balance and give the necessary addition to the group during the second period of the season. The club statement the statement goes on to say the management of Wafak reaffirms its support for the choices of athletic director Mr. Azaldin Arab and renews its call for supporters to support and stand behind the team strongly in order to balance and achieve positive results and benefit the reputation of the club and its fans. On to our last story now. There's a story that's been doing the rounds. The question is, are we going to see Bloemfontein Celtic already return? Now, we had a situation where the club owner of Siwelele FC, Kevin LeJohn, wanted to revive Bloemfontein Celtic and bring it back to life. However, the club was under the ownership of Mr. Edward Modise, who demanded a 5 million rand fee of 5 million rand for the naming rights of the club. Now I've got a media release for a statement which was put out on On Monday, this past Monday, the 17th of November, it reads Bloemfontein Celtic Club Football Club statement on new ownership and the future of the club. Now, Bloemfontein Celtic is pleased to announce that as of 16 October, the new owner of the Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club is Mr. Tsilo Mahatanya. Mr. Tsilo Mahatanya is the nephew of Mr. Victor Oyan Mahatanya, who, together with Mr. Norman Mtobisa, founded Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club back in 1969. The historic development marks the authentic return of Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club to its original lineage and ushers in a new era. Under leadership, we are of Mr. Tima Hatanya, grounded in the club's proud heritage, values, and rich history. Unauthorized use of the name unauthorized use of the name and the football club. Now, this is a disclaimer. Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club, and preserving and protecting this legacy, Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club appeals to the public to remain vigilant against the unauthorized use of the club's name on any communication public platforms. We further invite all social media account holders are currently operating under the names Bloemfontein Celtic or Bloemfontein Celtic to engage with our community department by no later than the 12th of December 2025. Failure to do so in such accounts being permanently closed will Failure to do so, rather, may result in such accounts being permanently closed. The club will soon announce its official social media accounts once this verification process has been completed. Has been completed. Yes. Engagement with the community and Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club supporters. The Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club will host a public engagement session with the community and supporters on Sunday, the 14th of December. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the club's current state of affairs, vision, future plans. Meeting details are as follows. The meeting will take place on the Sunday, the 14th of December, from 10:30 to 2 p.m. and at the Dr. Rentlai Petrus Malamela Indoor Sports Center in Rocklands, Bloemfontein. Here's how today's fixtures line up. We have Amazulu taking on Siwelele FC at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Chippa Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, and Magesi has been postponed to a later date due to Kaizer Chiefs' CAF commitments. I must let you now. Kaizer Chiefs will not be playing any football for the month of November. However, they will play against Chippa United on the 3rd of December, where they'll be traveling to Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Second match, which kicks off at 17:30, will be Marumo Gallants welcoming Kukuna United at the Dr. Mulamela Stadium. Sundowns will not play against Polokwane City tomorrow. However, we have TS Galaxy who will be welcoming Golden Arrows at 15:30. While Richards Bay will close off against Durban City at Umhlatuza Sports Complex in a KZN derby. Tuesday sees Orlando Pirates face off against Chippa United at the Orlando Stadium. Kickoff for that fixture is at 19:30, while Polokwane City will welcome Mamelodi Sundowns at the Old Peter Mkaba Stadium. Wednesday we'll see Orbit taking on Wednesday Kaizer Chiefs matches on Wednesday and Stellenbosch will be postponed to a later date. Premier League football also returns from the international break with our first game facing Chelsea will travel to Burnley, while Liverpool will take on Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth will look to get one over the Hammers at the Vitality Stadium. Wolves will be hosting Crystal Palace in a goal rush. Brighton take on Brentford, where the Bees will be looking to sting the Seagulls. Fulham will be looking to take on Sunderland. Newcastle welcome Manchester City in what should be a blockbuster match of the day. Leeds United on Sunday will face off against Aston Villa. The Gunners will face their North London rivals and Tottenham Hotspur at the Emirates Stadium. Kickoff for that fixture is at 18:30. Monday Night Football will see Manchester United welcome Everton at Old Trafford. And now on to UEFA Champions League football. Champions League football returns this coming Tuesday with Ajax taking on Benfica and an earlier kickoff. Kickoff for this fixture is at 19:45, along with Galatasaray welcoming Union Saint-Gilloise. Bodo Glimt welcome Juventus. Karabakh will travel to Napoli. Olympique de Marseille welcome Newcastle. Borussia Dortmund take on Villarreal. Chelsea take on Barcelona in a repeat of round of 16 and the 2006 round of 16 encounter. Manchester City will take on Bayer Leverkusen. Slavia Praha will take on Athletic Club. The last 7 games will all kick off simultaneously at 2200 hours. Those are your late kickoffs. West AC's Paphos welcome Monaco. On debutants, Paphos welcome Monaco. FC Copenhagen will also welcome the debutants in Garat Almaty. Those games will kick off simultaneously at 19:45. Lay down kickoffs will see Olympiacos take on Real Madrid. Sporting Lisbon will take on Club Brugge. Eintracht Frankfurt will take on Atalanta. Liverpool, 6-time winners, will take on PSV Eindhoven. Atletico Madrid take on Inter Milan, while the Gunners, 2006 runners-up and last in semi-finalists, will take on Bayern Munich, while defending champions Paris Saint-Germain will welcome the North Londoners in Tottenham Hotspur. That's all we have time for you today on all things football Unpacked. Remember to like the page. Remember to like the page on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow, like, comment, share, follow. Tell me what you need to hear. Tell me what I need to work on. Tell me what you think of my presenting skills. All constructive criticism is welcome. Follow me on TikTok. Follow the show on TikTok at allthingsfootball_14. Follow the show on Instagram at allthingsfootball_14. We are on Facebook, All Things Football Unpacked. Live follow. YouTube, All Things Football Unpacked. The show was executively produced by Christopher Segese, who's a contributor of the show. From my mother's dining table studio in Mtata, it's been a great. I hope you going to enjoy the show. Thanking you in advance for watching it. TikTok followers, remember to hit that follow button. I appreciate the views. However, please do follow. Tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. There's a new online football preview show on social media. Take care of yourselves and each other. Cheers.